Good evening, everybody. 3-0 win for the town. The Tigers came pouncing into Portman Road. They go home with their tails between their legs and licking their paws. A 3-0 win for Ipswich. 27,000 just over in Portman Road, and 3-0. Burns, Chaplin and Harness with the goals. I hope if you was at the game and you're watching this on the way back, you enjoyed it. If, like me, you're watching on Sky or via Town TV, I hope wherever you are in the world, I hope that's put a smile on your face, because I feel like that game could have been a tough one. That's their first defeat, Hull, since the opening day of the season against Norwich City. I think they had the third stingiest defence, according to Sky, coming into the match. And look at that this evening. We have won 3-0. Wes Burns scoring that first. What a goal it was. Let's go to the comments. But before we go to the comments, you guys, we want more likes. We need more likes on this channel. Give us some more likes. 300 likes we want. 3-0 win, 300 likes. What about that? We have the Shy Shark 1962. He says, great result against a team on good form, undefeated in 8. Absolutely. Mike the Fishman, hope you're good. Hope your brother's all good as well. Sublime performance, says Mike. Not since Burley years have we been this good. Absolutely, totally agree with that, actually. Really reminds me of that. Paul Smith, I think Burns needed that goal. Hopefully it will give his confidence a world of good. Great 3 points tonight up the Blues. John B, so good. Didn't expect such a relaxed 30 minutes. They did say on Sky that the last half an hour sort of went into a sort of a training game. And who'd have thought that, with all the kind of roller coaster rides we've had at Pullman Road over these last few weeks, over these last couple of months, where we've had the 4-3s, the 3-2s, the old ticker going. It was nice to actually get a clean sheet this evening, wasn't it? Noel O'Brien, we're going to win the World Cup. Who would this? Ireland, of course, in the rugby. John B says great goal from Burns. Frisch didn't put a foot wrong, says Mike. Top result, wow, says Beep. Good to see you in Beep. Woody Wood down dispatch, another top 10 side, revving it up in the championship. El Capitano back to steady the ship. Well, of course, we did make 4 changes this evening. Let me just get these up here as we speak. So who did we have? Clark, he's missed out. Williams played. Burgess, that was a funny one. Injury there. Is he going to be back Saturday? Edmondson came in there. Of course, Morsey returned to the midfield. And then Marcus Harness has obviously been knocking on the door. He came in for Amari, didn't he? Now, you're probably wondering why I am on my own this evening. It's because the governor has been in the hospitality at Pullman Road. Well, he's a big figure, isn't he? Big celebrity on the Suffolk scene. Last time I heard from him, he was having cheese and biscuits. I think we're going to have a few contributors come in. Martin, have we got anyone to come in? Who we've got? It's the aficionado. I love this.
Hello,
I thought he was coming in. Hello, Steve. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. Yourself?
Good. Yeah. Fine, thanks. Fine. And you're rocking the old school Green King top there. I do love that.
I've had to go for it. It's my all-time favourite. I had to go for it.
Is that the one with kind of like the white bleachy bit going into the shorts?
It is. Yeah, sort of strange.
Yeah, there it is.
Design,
yeah,
yeah.
Love that. Well, you got a smile on your face, and for every reason, a 3-0. Did you expect that to be so comfortable for Ipswich, a team that was coming in? They were 5th, weren't they? Hull going into the game, 4th or 5th, and we've dispatched, as Mike says.
I didn't expect it. I was watching them on the old Sky, and I thought it would be a tricky game. Like you say, they've not lost since the opening day, and they were doing well. But Ipswich, made them look pretty average. I think it was, apart from a couple of bits and pieces here and there, it was all town. So no, happy with that.
It was a great start, wasn't it? And again, Leif Davis I think he got the assist at Hillsborough on Saturday with that ball across the box for Williams stayed home. He gets 2 assists tonight, starts off with the first one. I mean, Wes Burns, what a shot that was. I mean, as soon as in and around the box, you just felt like he was going to hit it, didn't you?
Yeah, and then 5 minutes in, what a start. That's a statement start. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah. A statement start, absolutely. I mean, you never know with Town these days. Like I said just a few minutes ago, we can take the lead, and then of course we suddenly drop 3 goals to Leeds, and it ends 4-3. So you never quite know with Town, but we actually looked very solid in defence tonight, considering Burgess wasn't there, and he's been a mainstay, hasn't he, Steve? Of course. Yeah,
Burgess has been doing really well. Edmondson, when we've seen him so far this season, he's had a couple of sort of shaky moments. I thought he was really good at the back. Haladki was fantastic again. I think it was the right call keeping Haladki in rather than putting Walton straight back in.
Yes.
Halaki's more than deserved his place, between the sticks there. So
God,
I think from front to back, so solid, so well organised. It was brilliant.
It was good to see George get a little bit of a run out, wasn't he? Because we've been told Twanzebe is probably fit to play, but George gets the nod. I think probably the fact that Twanzebe hasn't had much of a pre-season probably is the reason why Fridge got in there. But take the 15 minutes against Wolves out, the first 15 minutes where I thought Fridge was a bit dodgy. I actually think from 15 minutes to 90, he was probably our man of the match. And again, I thought he looked pretty solid tonight. But of course, Hull didn't offer too much. There was only one hairy moment with Delap in the first half where I think he beat him for pace a little bit. But again, it was fairly comfortable, wasn't it?
It was. Like I say, like you say, apart from a couple of bits and pieces here and there where I sort of got a bit it was pretty confident. I got the feeling that no matter what Hull chucked at us, we could deal with no problem at all. They all looked so fantastic at the back. It was brilliant. Yeah.
It's always a bit hairy, isn't it, when Twine is over free kicks around the D. I always get flashbacks to the Swindon game in the COVID. Oh, Steve's disappeared.
There we go.
You're back. Martin's had too much cheese and wine, I think. I always get flashbacks to the Swindon game during the lockdowns when no one was in the ground. They beat us 3-2, I think, and he scored a couple of worldies. I suppose they were reduced to half chances, weren't they? I think, Hull.
Yeah, it was quite close towards the end where it hit the wall and went over, and that was looking pretty solid. So that was a bit of a break. But
where do you? We've had. I mean, you've been watching the shows, Steve. Where are you in this Walton versus Hladky camp? I mean, look, we're blessed to have two really good keepers. Yeah. My personal take on this is that I think Hladky, his skill with his feet and to get moved starting much quicker. I think with the third goal this evening, I can't quite remember. I think it was Hladky's through ball to Hurst that enabled the harness goal. I mean, even though Walton's a good shot stopper, he doesn't quite offer you the same going forward from feet with distribution, does he?
No, both of them have got very different things they can offer you. Like, I think overall, I think Walton is obviously he's the better keeper, but Hladky better with his feet. I don't know. It was the right call keeping Hladky in rather than just whacking Walton straight back into it. Considering he's been out for so long, and Hladky has earned his place. And I feel I feel bad for the guy. Suddenly, it was just like, right, that's it. You're done. You're out of the way. It's like you've done well. You started really well, but we've got him back now, so you can go in and take a seat. I don't know. I think I'll keep Hladky in for the foreseeable. I think he's done so well. Like tonight, he was a bit. I was nervous, and he was a bit shaky on the opening day at Sunderland, for example. But
he was. Yeah.
I think he's grown into it really well, and he is a really solid keeper. I'll keep him in, absolutely.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that, and he has surprised a lot of people. All right, Steve. Well, lovely to chat to you. I think we've got a few more people in, so I'll catch up with you soon, mate.
Great.
All the
Cheers,
best. We've got some comments here. We've got Chris Cunningham. This town team is just getting better. I still say top two for sure. We've got Frank from the Netherlands is about to join us. Frank, I'm going to read a few more comments. Neil Fay saw a stat, 52 goals in 15 games at Portman Road by Ipswich. That is an unbelievable stat. I do think that is the 15th game on the trot. We've scored 2+ goals at home. Frank, can you hear me all the way over the North Sea there?
Yes, I can indeed, Matt. I don't know why we're so dark over there.
Have you had a power cut?
No. All the lights are on here, and
all right, we can hear you
functioning normally. But you can probably see me in a faint way.
We could. I always say your accent, is it Wirral?
It's actually a place called. It's quite interesting. It's a place called Maghull, which is about 7 miles from Liverpool. It's the same place. If you listen to Radio Suffolk, which I'm on quite often, the guy that presents it, Graham Mack, is from the same small town that I'm from. Although he's a Liverpool supporter, and I'm obviously not. And so that's where it's at. And the more I have to drink, the more of the Liverpool twang comes out. But I'll never be. I'm not quite that. My mother would not
quite Paul O'Grady style. Yeah. Well, I'm presuming you had a drink tonight, Frank, because that was a great performance from town, wasn't it? 3-0.
Yeah, you probably can't see my glass of wine in front of you there, but anyway, I'm waving. I think again the debate that I just don't understand, Steve, when he talks about Hladky being not very good with his feet, and I think somebody else suggested that. Gosh, he's a damn sight better than Walton. Well, Walton is pedantic. He's very slow to get the balls moving, and everyone will talk about that 11-second. goal that Ipswich conspired thanks to Walton's quick movement. But that isn't typical of Walton, to be honest. It's a rarity, because more often than not, he is very, very deliberate. He has the ball in his hand. He's looking around, and eventually he bowls the ball out. Edladke starts from the front. He is, how do we describe this? A momentum goalkeeper, in the sense that he gets the ball moving very quickly. We saw it today with 2 of the goals. Now, I know Mike the Fisherman won't love this, and Stephen will hate it even more, but the second goal was as a direct result of Edladke's speed of thought and speed of action. It's a high-risk strategy. Yeah. We accept that. It's a high-risk strategy, but it gets premium results. And it proved it even the third goal, which again, Edladke, he bowled the ball out super quick, and because of that, eventually it found Marcus Harness. Now, if you had been slower, and if you had deliberated, which is what I find, I was going to use a Dutch word, vervelend, tiresome with what Walton is, he takes too long getting the ball out, because Ipswich style of play invites and encourages and motivates players to get the ball moving. If the goalkeeper, he is an extra defender to some extent, and actually Edladke, you shouldn't get too frightened about him, because he's very, very skillful with both feet. If you look very closely, he's never found wanting, and there are high risks involved in it. But I would argue persuasively that without that, we wouldn't be scoring as many goals. So I'm a Edladke supporter. I think Walton is a great keeper. Don't get me wrong. But I think this idea that Kieran McKenna would suddenly decide, okay, now Walton's fit, let's bring him in. What sort of message would that send to Edladke? Well, straight away put in the transfer tomorrow. That's the first thing you'd do.
Absolutely.
It would hugely disrupt the cohesive nature of the squad. So McKenna isn't a stupid guy. He knows very well. I'll drop him when he's deserved of being dropped. When Ipswich lose and he is responsible for some errors, which so far, apart from the Sunderland game, he hadn't played for a year and a half or something.
That's right. Yeah, league game.
And he survived that. And 5 out of the 10 games, as Ipswich sit proudly on the top of the table, he's conceded no goals in 5, a 50% no-goal success rate. How is that, Matt?
Well, here we go. The Bald Blue says, if Leicester and Ipswich both beat Preston, we could be 8 points clear of third before, Frank, the international break. I mean, here we are. I always say to people, show me the table after 10 games. And I always seem to think that's where the pieces might lie, because you're almost a quarter of the way through the season. And here we are, Frank, top of the table. Now, that is a surprise to me, because when we did the pre-season show, I thought I agreed with Cruncher. I thought we'd be around about 8th to 10th. This team is playing phenomenally. It's a legit side, isn't it, Frank?
It is indeed, and I'm sorry that this is almost like a Radio Suffolk communication, because it's so dark, and I don't know what's gone wrong there. I have no idea, because normally...
Don't worry, Frank, we can hear you. I can see you as well. We can see you.
The whole team today played brilliantly, I thought, especially in the first half. I mean, the cohesive nature of the team, the way they understood where everybody was, almost passing blindly, because everyone was in the right positions. This is something that is desired by most teams, but fails by most teams to accomplish, simply because there isn't that cohesion. We have it. The players know each other inside out. You can take 3 or 4 players out, bring new players in, and they still do the business. Marcus Harness, I will take you won't see it, I'll take my hat off to him, because I've been one of his major critics in the past. But something that Kieran McKenna has done has changed his attitude, and he's now somebody who can pass the ball. He's somebody who can shoot at the right time, because this is the difference between a League 2, League 1 player, a Championship player, and a Premiership player, is knowing when to pass, knowing when to shoot, using football intelligence, and the players have all bought into it under McKenna, and I think that's a wonderful example of the way Ipswich are pushing forward with such momentum. It's great to see Ed Sheeran pulling the pints in the Alf Ramsey stand today. I mean, this is another big plus for Ipswich to have a guy like him. Whether you love him or loathe him, you can't deny the fact he's a lovely guy, a local lad.
Power.
Born in Halifax, but it doesn't matter. He is through and through Ipswich Blue, and the game today was just amazing. I mean, we were all fearful that it was going to be a close game. It wasn't that close, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Really.
No.
So,
Big shout out to just interrupt you there, Frank. Big shout out to our friend David over the Irish Sea. He's given us €10 with the super sticker. Top man, David. Before I let you go, Frank, before you go back and put some, you don't have guilders anymore, do you? In the meter, euros in the meter.
I used to like the goal.
Who was your man of the match?
My man of the match, actually. I thought long and hard about this. Wes Burns got it, but I would have given it probably to either Hladky or Harness, because I thought Marcus Harness played exceptionally well. But who didn't play well in the Ipswich side? Can you pick a player out of that 11 or the 14 or 15 that came on that didn't play well? I can't find.
I wouldn't want to. I think after such a great performance, you don't want to be picking out people like that. I think maybe as the game wore on, I think Williams may have been feeling the 90 minutes a little bit. Had a couple of funny moments.
Bradley Williams was very, very good as well. I jotted him down as a potential because he played very well. I mean, again, you don't want to pick players out and say they were exceptional, because everybody was exceptional. It was an exceptional team performance, and I would argue the best team performance at Portman Road this season, in my humble opinion, of course.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, Frank, top man. We'll catch up with you soon, no doubt.
All right, take care, man. Thank you.
All the best. All the best. See you now. Andy Barrell down there in the southwest. He says best football of the season. Max Pitchford says squad depth is the best it's been for donkey years. Selection headaches all over the pitch. I think it's fantastic to see. Well, we spoke about this Sunday, didn't we? Was Harness on the periphery of a starting place? And a lot of people thought he was. And lo and behold, he gets the nod over Amari and Broadhead tonight. And he probably was my man of the match this evening. I think he played very well. And that's harsh on Leif Davis, I think. 2 assists. 3 assists in 2 games for Leif. Harness 3 assists against Wolves. It's fantastic to see. Martin, do we have any more people to come on? Let's read a few more comments here. It's Beep. Hang on, Beep. I'll be with you in just a second. We've got McSauce Benitez. Hladky compliments our playing style incredibly well. Simon Reed also agrees that Harness was superb. Trevor Amos, when is Sky going to finally recognise us as contenders and feature us as a main match? That's a very good point, isn't it, Beep? We keep being on the red button right now. When are we going to get some proper Sky action in?
Well, they always think that everybody else is bigger. They put Southampton on when they lost 4 in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you just doing it to tease them or what? Because they don't look at Preston, they don't look at us. Leicester gets a lot of love. You know what I mean? But they're doing well. The rest of them gets a lot of love, but they're not even doing anything. Leeds lose again, and they're going to be on the telly more than us. I give up with Sky. Sky's just a waste of space now. We will be moving soon into a streaming service. The Netflix of football, and Sky's just like it's like terrestrial telly 20 years ago. It's clinging on with its fingertips, and
yes.
The money that will come in from a streaming service will just blow Sky out of the water, and they're just so desperate to keep it going as long as possible. It will die eventually, as you can see with Town TV and all the other TVs. They're all going to amalgamate in one big thing, and they'll say, look, they'll do what they did with in America with Apple and get like, I don't know, what was it, $5 billion for a season?
MLS. yeah.
You could argue the English football doing that could get 20 billion a year. Easy.
Yeah.
And they'd still sell the subscribers and make a profit around the world. Sky couldn't touch that amount of money.
No,
but I just do want to say one thing.
Go for it.
It seems like a lot of people are getting either misunderstood or getting the context wrong of what I'm saying about Walton. Yeah, I'm a bluff traditionalist, and I believe you have a number 1 and a number 2. Yeah. Do I believe Walton was going to play today? No. Do I believe he's going to play Saturday? No. I think he's going to get his first involvement in the friendly, like Tuanzebe, in that friendly in the international break.
International break makes sense, yeah.
And probably his first game will be Fulham. That's what I think
makes
his
sense.
first game will be.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Do I think he's fit? Yes. Do I think he's match fit? Hell no. And you don't play an unmatch fit goalkeeper. Simple as that. Am I saying Walton's a bad keeper? Hladky's a bad keeper? No, I'm not. We wouldn't be anywhere near where we are if Hladky wasn't doing what was. But people are coming on and saying, well, Hladky made this save and that save, and not thinking about the fact that Walton didn't play. He could have made those saves as well. We don't know.
We don't know. We'll never know, Steve.
No, it's all an opinion. This is just my opinion. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying other people are wrong. I'm one of those people that's a bluff traditionalist. Say you have a number 1 and a number 2. When your number 1's fit, your number 2 drops out. Yeah. And that's the way I am. Yeah. And I do think, top and bottom of it is, makes no bloody odds what I think or what anybody else thinks. It's what McKenna thinks. If McKenna thinks it's right, he'll play him. Because where did Edmondson come from? He's had a lot of doubters. He's had a lot of doubters. Yeah.
Me being one of them.
Me as well. People saying he should be shipped out. And he comes in, plays against Liam Delap, and plays like that. You know, I'm not one of these now who are going to say, I'll start this person or that person. I'm one of these now who'll say, I'll have what McKenna says. That'll do me.
That'll do. Yeah.
He's right. I'm not. You know,
here's one for you, Steve. Now, Mark Cross makes a point here. That was without doubt a quality performance. Bring on Norwich. Now, I'm going to put this into two things here. Bring on Norwich. Isn't it a shame we're not playing them in this purple patch right now? Because I think they would get a good shoe in just as Hull got this evening, don't you think?
I don't know. You know, at the end of the day, that's a one-off game. That's like a Merseyside derby. You know, they could be on a bad run. We could be on a bad run, and then suddenly, you know, a result jumps out of nowhere. It's one of them games that it's unlike any other. You can't quantify whether if they're on a bad run and we rock up 5 wins in a row, we could end up losing. Same vice versa. We could be on a bad run and they're on 5 wins in a row and they lose. So I put that Norwich as an outlier. I do want to win Saturday. We win Saturday. That would have been one fantastic in between the international breaks. Ireland got us with 8 points during this international break. We've already beaten that. Yeah. So I think we've done extremely well. And today, that's probably one of the best performances I've seen, controlled performances I've seen in a hell of a long while. In the Championship, you could argue we had some better ones in League One, but that's League One. In the Championship, that was absolutely. We were playing champagne football at times, and they've got some really good players that during pre-season, everybody was going, we should go for him. We should go for him. Well, we made them look like Muppets. We made them look like a League One side, and that's not being disparaging to Hull because they are a very good side. We just made them look poor.
That Siri in midfield, I think he was like 25 million quid to Fulham about 5 years ago.
You know, even Liam Delap, he's a fantastic player.
Yeah, very good player.
George Edmondson made him look ordinary. You know, and this is a player that we've been having a go at. You know, huge kudos to people like Edmondson and people like Harness.
Yeah,
who've come in from the cold. And I put a message on Discord earlier on. I said, if Edmondson and Harness have a good game, that just adds extra depth going into the winter. You know, a lot less. Oh, this person's out. You know what I mean? Because these two have now shown they can do it, and it's down to them now to continue that. They're not going to get games every week. We all know that. But we've got Tuanzebe to come in. Who knows what's going to go on there? We've got Edmondson now firing. We've got Burgess playing well. We've got Wolfie playing well. That's 4 good central defenders before you even throw in Elkin Baggott, you know. And then you've got Morsi. I think he was imperious today. You know, he dominated that central midfield. And I think for me, he's the man of the match. Simple fact. It was cool. I would have given it to George because I think that, or Marcus, because they came in from the cold. But I think because it was a strong midfield for them, with the likes of Seri and Morton, who were good players, I think I'll give it to Sam because he controlled that midfield. He calmed everything down. Had some tricky moments, but he does that. He turns into people, but he keeps hold of the ball even then. And I think he controlled the midfield. And Burns really needed that goal. You know, there's been a lot of people turning around and saying he doesn't offer us anything. You know, even though he's got a lot of the chance created, they're just not being put away. That's not his fault. But he's got a goal now, and I think that'll be a big boost for him. And Chapper's getting another goal. He needs that. You know, these players need to keep ticking over. Otherwise, people will start moaning and booing. And another shout out, I'd like to shout out to George Hurst. Again, ran his socks off. You know, everything good was going from his press. He was pressing everybody. He was that side of the field, that side of it. Was wonderful to see. And I was delighted. Big smiles for me from 5 minutes onwards. And it never went.
Blaze Dog says Williams man of the match for me. I did think he played well. I just felt like he looked a little bit tired going into the dying embers of the game. That the chest back fell a little bit short. He got caught out on the touchline, but you know,
he had some superb touches.
He had some great touches, didn't he? And Nigel Dow says, and now 15 scorers, Steve, out of 25 this season. We always talk about someone who scores 20 goals. Who needs that when you've got goals from across the pitch, right?
Well, that's something that I said right at the beginning of the season when I think we had 8 scorers or 7 scorers. People said we still need this 25-goal season scorer. I think, well, if that 25-goal season scorer gets injured, who are you relying on? If we get that, if we have a guy who's on 10 goals, he gets injured, we're not relying on him because we've got others who can chip in. We've got defenders, fullbacks, midfielders, attackers, wide attackers who can all chip in. And it's just so encouraging moving forward because they don't know who to stop. If you've got one guy scoring all the goals, everybody knows Man City's got Erling Haaland. Jim, you as good as stop Man City from scoring. It's not easier said than done, granted. But they don't know who to stop because if they start marking more Chaplin, Burns moves out and goes into position, or Broadhead, or Hutchison, or Hurst drops deep and picks it up and runs forward, or Massimo goes forward from midfield. They just don't know who to stop. So they've got to stop everyone. And sometimes that's easier said than done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's probably embodied actually by the fact we made that quadruple sub with 10 to go. And on comes Ladapo, Amari, Jackson, and Dane Scarlett, who've taken the 4 off and brought those 4 on. That just
says everything, isn't it? It must have been a real downer for Liam Rossini and his whole side when, you're playing a game, you're 3-0 down, and they change all 4 front forward players. You're thinking well, what do we have? We've made all our changes, we're losing, and now they've just refreshed the forward line. It did probably then go into a training match, but that suited us. We didn't need it to be any more than that. I still think we had more if they started coming at us. But if they weren't going to come at us, then why should we bother wasting the energy? We've got another game on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Steve. Well, I'm going to let you go. We may have one more person in. Good chatting to you. I'm glad you enjoyed the game, mate. We'll catch up with you very soon. All the best. All the best. Martin, do we have one more person still there, or do you think we are finished for the evening? Who have we got? I've got no idea. Who have we got here?
Louis.
How you doing, Louis? How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I've not been on here for a long time.
No, I was going to say. You didn't make it to the game tonight. You watched it on Town TV or on the Sky, yeah?
Oh, it was amazing though. Just from minute one, isn't it? I was expecting a tough game. I thought Hull were going to come and it was going to be really close. I mean, I think based on that, I don't think anyone is going to want to come to Portman Road this season at this point because it's just. I agree. Yeah, I don't think any of us expected this at the start of the season, just to be 25 points in 10. And it's what you said earlier about someone needing 25 goals a year. You don't need that when you've got 15 different goal scorers so far this season. It's crazy.
Absolutely. What's good about it, Louis, is that, as Steve was saying there, we're playing this kind of champagne football. It looks so effortless. Now, clearly it's not. It's kind of the repetition on the training ground. It's the team spirit that McKenna's fostered and, a commitment to the tactics that they've had since they come in December 21, I think it was. But you're absolutely right. I can't see it. I mean, it's a bit annoying that we lost that Leeds game. I feel like we just threw that one away inside in that mad 10 minutes that we had when we went 1 up and then 3-1 down. But absolutely, and I don't think Preston are going to be relishing going to Leicester tomorrow night, coming to Portman Road on Saturday.
What week that is for them. I mean, because even Leicester, mate, I think we can give a game to them because we've shown, I think, to beat Southampton, Sunderland, even Hull, teams that are probably going to be up there this season.
Yeah, I agree,
teams in one. We've beaten Hull tonight, and the fact that we can make 4 changes to a team and yet we can still produce that performance, it's like you guys said, just the strength and depth we've got in this squad, which, maybe I don't know if it was a concern at the start of the season, but everyone just does their job. And obviously,
I think you're right there. Actually, you've touched on a point because people were, when they weren't flapping about the transfer window particularly, but a lot of people come on this show, the Cruncher included. I can say that because he's not here, and thought it was a little bit underwhelming, which I was surprised by because I don't think there was a marquee signing in there. But look at what we've got already.
Exactly. Because you've just got players that can make up the squad, haven't you? You've got and Scarlett, who Scarlett will probably get one run at some point. Hutchinson's been brilliant, I think, when he's been called upon. And look, he's kept the same team, hasn't he, from when that got promoted? He's kept that settled side. And barring, I guess, injuries to, Broadhead, obviously, he's not been a couple of games. Walton, obviously. But, Halaki's done his job, to be fair. The fact that
you like Halaki? You've been impressed with him?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I've never really disliked him. I think he's a great player, a great goalkeeper.
Me too.
Walton's just, Walton's a great keeper as well. But obviously, come in and done his job. And that's the same with Edmondson. Look, he's not played since February, not played like a league game, and he's just played like that. I mean, look, it's a thing, isn't it? It's just you got to give players a chance. Like I always think
you got Twanzebe in the wings as well, ex-Man United captain.
Exactly. Yeah, and Williams as well was quality. I thought.
Yeah.
Right. And look, I think you've got Donacien out. Donacien is really solid, and even Clark as well. Like I think he's come into his own really last few games. Obviously.
He has, and then he got subbed on Saturday, didn't he? And he hasn't featured Snipe. But I think he'd been playing very well. He'd scored against Blackburn, hadn't he? And I think you'd argue he was man of the match in a couple of those games as well.
Yeah.
Do you keep the same side for Preston on Saturday, or do you feel like Kieran might make some more changes? What are you thinking?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he made changes, but I probably think he will keep the same side. I think it's a case of would you see players like maybe Broadhead? Would he come back into the team, or
he was struggling with a thigh injury Saturday? Maybe they didn't want to. Actually, he didn't come on as a sub, did he? So maybe they're just keeping their. Well, why would you risk it at 3-0, right?
I don't want to risk him, like keep him fresh for Saturday.
Yeah.
But
Harness.
Harness, I would keep him. He was excellent, and he was a player I think that people thought might go, but I think
me too.
Fulham, I mean, got three. No, not Fulham. Wolves. He got 3 assists.
Wolves,
and then tonight goes and scores, and I thought he was excellent. Chapman was excellent.
To the player we signed, I think, because obviously he got that injury against Portsmouth in the Pizza Cup, didn't he? And he kind of went off the boil after that. And of course, Broadhead had come in and had kind of stolen his thunder a little bit, I suppose, on that side. But now he seems to be back to that composed player, and he's not frightened to shoot, is he? I think he had 3 or 4 shots before he scored the goal from the Hurst pass, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was excellent at first. It was a great signing last season. Obviously, for him, it's just probably a bad injury at the wrong time. Obviously, just before January. And obviously Broadhead comes in, and there's the thing. It's like obviously that was probably well happened, wasn't it? Just to gear up as well for the championship with how it was going. Yeah. And look, I bet if we're there by January, it's an interesting thing. If we're there by January, will McKenna make signings to maybe think for the future? Will he bring players in that maybe would come in for the Premier League in a few years? Because I think really at the moment it's like it's great what we're doing as well, obviously. And will it be a case of we'll be up there, but will we kind of want to be up here for a few years so we build a squad that is good enough for the Premier League? Or do you just keep going and obviously you'll see where it takes you and got this season? I mean, not saying we will because it's a long way to go, but look, it's going to see how it goes, Like,
the momentum, innit? It's all the momentum. I think it's 25 points from the 10 games, like we say. I didn't think we'd be top of the table after. I thought we'd be there or thereabouts in terms of the top 6. I had no, after 10, I didn't think we'd be top. And of course, let's have a chance to overtake us tomorrow. Let's have a few more comments, Louis, before we all say good night. David Bergen, best team in a generation. It's hard to argue that, actually. The team has actually got success, got us back into the championship, right? Bald and Blue says, after 13 years of rot, I'm now happy to be a Town fan again. That even Ed Sheeran was there again this evening. Kev Hansen, I wonder if the Norwich fan will come on, Matt, who you read out 2 days ago. I don't know if you saw the show Sunday, Louis. But in the Norwich newspaper, the Pinkin, there was a Norwich fan. He was getting very disgruntled by our form, our momentum. He said, you need to get back in your box. Yeah. I think he was begrudgingly complimenting us, but hoping it would fall apart. Right, Louis, and who's your man of the match, mate? Before we say goodnight,
it's a tough one.
It's tough, isn't it?
I think on the whole game, I probably would just say Harness, but Harness, Burns, Chaplin, even
the assists,
amazing. Even Davis as well. Quality.
What was your favourite? What was your favourite goal this evening? You obviously had the 2. You had the Burns Barnstormer, lovely cold effort from Chaplin, and of course then Hurst does all the work and taps it over for Harness. What was your favourite now?
I'm giving it to Chaplin just for that move from Halaki.
Yeah. I mean, he was caged in, wasn't he? He still got the ball out.
Yeah, he just turned into bloody prime Messi at that point. He was just. I think he must have some, I don't know, Brazilian heritage at some point from those skills. But amazing. Yeah.
Okay, great stuff. We're going to finish with Bald and Blue. He says Canaries mind the gap. A great 3 points for the Town. We're top of the table as it sits this evening. 3-0 over Hull. 3-0. We'll catch up with you tomorrow for the preview show as we count down to Preston on Saturday. Have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I